Have you ever felt like the weekends just take over? Have you ever felt the emotions at its highest when it comes to the weekend?
Yes.
Thank you, Brendan. Today, on the Dynamic Podcast, we will be speaking about tracking calories on the weekend, or how to visually sometimes track if you aren't a client. But if you are, then there might be some tips in here where we will be able to give you
Some
a little
pointers.
bit, so some pointers as to how you can improve over the weekend when it comes to tracking your calories, especially if you have a goal.
Yes.
So this is for both sides, right? For people who want to improve their health and fitness in terms of their nutrition, Do you want to improve your nutrition on the weekends? There's some tips here. But then also, if you do have a goal in mind,
Like a weight loss, fat loss goal, or even a muscle gain goal.
we're going to explain to you how you go out on the weekends to that event, a baby shower, a wedding, a birthday party,
Out with the boys.
or even out with the boys,
Or out with the girls.
or out with the girls. Thank you for that one, Brendan. Okay, so sometimes, actually most of the time when we talk to our clients, the one thing that they say is it's always impossible on the weekends to either track calories or be cautious of the food that they're about to eat. What would you say are some excuses that people like to throw out there when it comes to the weekend?
I don't know how to track it. I had too many different things, don't know how to track it. I had too many drinks, too much alcohol. I don't know how to put it into my fitness pal. Don't know how to put it into the app. Don't know how to track it all. It's all too confusing. So they throw it out the window and just roll into Monday, not tracking a single thing, not knowing how many calories they ate, and they start again on Monday. Now, to me, the biggest problem with that, it's 2, even 3 out of 7 days of the week. 3 days out of 7 days is a big percentage. And you not tracking or you not knowing what happens in those 3 days can really affect what you do in the other 4. Right? Most people are pretty good with their food Monday through to Thursday. It's usually only Friday, Saturday, and Sunday where people blow out. And it's because they find it too hard. They have social events. They have outings. They don't know how to track it. They end up, they're out of routine. And it's very hard for them to stay on track to whatever fitness goals, health or fitness goals that they're trying to achieve. So for the general person, if their goal is fat loss or weight loss, they're going to be following or tracking their calories Monday to Thursday. It's only Friday, Saturday, Sunday where they're like, don't know what to do.
So we'll call these two different people, right? There's person A and person B. Person A has a specific goal that they're working towards. They either have a coach or they have some sort of target that they have in mind. And person B is just someone that wants to be a little bit healthier with their food choices, but doesn't really know how to conquer the weekend, we'll call it, right? So let's go with person A first. So for the person that, and this is for most of our members, what they're currently going through, when you have a set goal in mind, it's really, really important, and I believe it's really important, to plan your weekend ahead. If you know Friday you've got a girls' night, Saturday you're going out with a friend for a double date, and Sunday you're going on a breakfast with another friend, you can kind of preempt what you're going to be eating or where you're going to be going. Sometimes there's those occasions where you don't know where you're going, but in 9 times out of 10, you're going to find a menu at the place that you go to. You're going to find, you're going to have a coach that's able to guide you and give you the right choices. And you've got a goal. You've got to stick to it. If you have that goal in mind and you have a girls' night out or all those examples that I gave before, and the excuse is, but I wanted to let loose, then why did you set the goal in the beginning? How important was it to you to set?
100%. And it's too hard to track. If you ask someone how many drinks they had on the weekend, they can tell you point blank, I had 7 beers and 3 cocktails.
Yeah.
They'll be able to tell you.
Yeah.
Why can't you put it into my fitness pal? Why can't you go into MyFitnessPal and track that you had 7 beers? They're around 150 calories each, right? Plus or minus 50, depending on how heavy the beer was.
Yep.
Right? If you're having a Guinness, it's probably closer to 200. If you're having a Han Super Dry, you're probably closer to 100. Just to give them a bit of context there,
Yep.
right? Then if you're having cocktails, same thing again. You can throw that into MyFitnessPal. It will give you a general range. You're probably looking at around 250 to 300, depending on how big the glass was and what was actually in that cocktail, right? And if you can easily put those things in, then you can easily also track the ingredients you had in your meals. Like let's say you go to a restaurant and at that restaurant you got a 200 gram Wagyu beef steak, and then you had a side of fries. Yeah, they went out to a really nice restaurant, right, with the girls.
Yeah.
Then why can you not put the 200 gram Wagyu that you had?
Yeah.
You know what you ate.
Yeah.
You can see the menu before. As you said, you can preempt it. You can plan ahead of time. Then if you track those things, you'll know how much damage you did. Then you can just do damage control in the next few days.
Yeah.
Another method, and that's method number one, planning ahead of time. So you know you have outings on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now for the person that has a very similar goal, but they don't have anything planned for the weekend, but they know things are just going to pop up, right? Last minute. For those people, I always like to give them more of a loading phase. What do you call it? You called it something.
Banking.
Calorie banking. So if you know that you're going to be going out pretty hard on Friday and Saturday, you have like, you might have a pre-planned thing, or you know you're just going to blow out, then you can essentially eat a little bit less Monday to Thursday, which gives you a bit more of a buffer zone to play around with on the weekend. I like to say if you can undereat 1,000 extra calories over the span of 4 days, which is 200 calories each day. If you have 200 calories less than your plan Monday to Thursday, then you're going to have an extra 800 to 1,000 calories that you can play around with on the Saturday.
Yeah.
So if your plan is to eat 2,000 and that's your weight loss calories that you've got set, you're going to be able to have 3,000 and you will still be in a calorie deficit. You will still lose weight that week. And 3,000 calories to have on one day is a lot of food, and also quite a few drinks.
Yes. I think, and this
Actually,
is...
let's count it. Actually, sorry, just give me 1 second. That's 10 Han Super Dries.
It is 10 Han Super Dries.
Well, actually, 30 if you just drink beers.
I think the third option for that person, this is for person A, who
has a specific goal.
You may or may not have a coach, but you have someone that can keep you accountable, someone that can help you. I guarantee you, someone in your circle of friends or family has some sort of idea about calories. You know,
A lot of people know about them.
a lot of people know about them. It's not that people don't know about them. And if you're ever confused, ask people. Ask people that have actually been through a weight loss journey, or reach out to a coach. Because in those situations, sometimes the best information is the information that you're willing to hear about. You're willing to actually ask a question about. You're willing to put yourself outside of your comfort zone to get the response that you need or the answer that you need. Because a lot of people, what they do is they go, I don't know what to do here. I'm just going to go free willy-nilly on the weekend. Comes to the Monday when they
Weigh in.
go to work or weigh in or do whatever they need to do, and they step on the scale just randomly and they go, oh, shit, why am I an extra kilo?
Yeah,
and a
why
half
am I an
up?
extra kilo? Like I was so strict with myself Monday to Friday. I didn't get it.
And then when we've had members that have done that check-in with us, go, no, I was really good over the weekend, but I had this outing and I had XYZ. Okay, let's backtrack.
Then I look at their app and I'm like, you didn't track anything from Friday to Sunday. How do I know what you did?
Yeah.
How do you know what you did? How do you know how much damage actually happened? Because if you don't write it down, how are you going to know how to fix it? You're going in blind every single week. So you're essentially starting again in your mindset. You have to restart every single Monday. And I feel like that's the worst thing you can do, restart every Monday, because it just demotivates you, one. And you're never going to get results that way. You're just going to constantly be going around on a hamster. It's like a hamster on a wheel, constantly going in circles.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I really hate in the fitness industry is people will demonize calorie tracking. They'll say that it's obsessive, that it's there for fitness freaks and fitness enthusiasts. Once you learn the skill, and it's a skill, just like any skill out there, once you master that skill, it takes less than 5 minutes a day to track your whole day.
Yeah.
You know, and even for the less skilled people, how long does it take someone, a brand new client? Like I did it with a brand new client recently. It took them 10 minutes, 15 minutes to track the whole day.
Yeah.
5 minutes to 15 minutes is not a huge gap. And 15 minutes is not that long if you actually factor in the other things that you do every day. Check your screen time right now and tell me if you don't have 15 minutes to spare for tracking your calories, which will help you get your goals, no matter what goal you have.
Yeah.
But they will easily go for things like intermittent fasting, keto, detox teas, 5-2, paleos, and veggie diets to kind of get their weight loss goals.
Okay. So I think that's the perfect way to describe it. Now let's go on to person B. So this is for the people that aren't really focusing on a goal, but they do know that they need to be healthier, right? So all that stuff that we said before was for our current or future clients. For the people that,
Or even just people that have like a specific weight loss or fat loss or muscle gain goal. Like they're maybe not happy with how their body looks and they want to lose a few kilos or want to gain a bit of muscle. And for that goal, they need to be doing something to change what they're doing right now. Yeah. But what you're saying now is person B is someone that maybe is pretty happy and content with how their body looks. And their main goal is to improve their health in terms of their nutrition, right? So they don't really have a weight loss or fat loss goal. They don't really have a muscle gain or gain goal.
they just want to be healthier.
Exactly. So
Cool. So with that person, I always like to be aware of what I'm eating on the weekends. And especially if you're not one to track, it's good to have an idea of what you are eating. Just jotting down what you eat or asking someone, hey, do you think this is healthy? Probably the best way to get a bit of a guide. Funny enough, AI is out there, right? If you're feeling like your day-to-day meals are a little bit boring, a little bit repetitive, or not up to par with the right amount of calories that you should be eating.
download our ebook where we have delicious
We
recipes.
don't have an ebook. Shut up. I think where I was going with that was that you have to have some sort of gauge or some sort of idea of what you're eating, whether you're overeating, undereating, for your health, right? So getting a bit of guidance with AI or asking a friend that has been in that sort of circle before is definitely going to benefit you tenfold than you just going, I'll just eat this today. I'll just grab that from the pantry. I'm going out tonight. I don't know, I guess I'll eat some extra chips or because I think my carbs are down. So I'll just have extra chips because I know my carbs are down. I didn't have much but then you're guesstimating
You're guessing.
incorrectly.
That's where I still feel like even if your goal is health, is improving your health, you don't have any weight loss or muscle gain goals, but your goal is just to improve your health. And then you're looking at your nutrition right now. And if that's what you're doing, I still believe tracking calories is going to help them tenfold because tracking your calories is going to show you the amount of calories that you're having every day, which is essentially how you'll know if you're gaining or losing weight. And then also it will tell you the macro split that you're having, how much carbs, fats, and protein you have. Now, just those three things alone are going to determine how much you're improving your bone and muscle health, how much you're improving your hormonal health, and how much you're improving your energy on a day-to-day basis. Now, if you undereat on any of those things for an extended period of time, you are going to run into some health problems. And they've got to understand that, right? And the easiest thing to understand is if your fats, which is one of the macronutrients, is too high for a prolonged period of time, you're going to run into this thing called high cholesterol. If your carbs are too high for an extended period of time, you are going to run into this thing called diabetes. Now, if your protein is too high, you're going to run into this thing called constipation. so
There's always a problem with having too much of something.
Exactly. So I feel like if you don't know, I feel like it's important for you to understand where you're at right now. Maybe track your calories for a week if you don't want to go through that process of actually understanding how you're actually ingesting your food. But cleanest thing, if you eventually want to step away from tracking, is just make sure every single meal that you have has a balance of the macros. Now, the Australian Dietary Guidelines is something that you can easily pick up off the internet. Pick it up. It will tell you how much of each food group you should be having every day. Everyone kind of knows it. You've learnt it in school. You've probably seen it at your workplace. You've probably seen it at your freaking gym. Everywhere. It's listed everywhere. And it always says that, around 40 to 50% of your plate should be in carbs. And that's going to include things like your rice, your potatoes, your veggies, your fruits, and your breads, like all that kind of stuff. Then 30% is going to be from your protein. So what that leaves around 20% to be from fats, which is a pretty good split for people to understand and start inputting into their life. And that just means if you look at your every single meal, your breakfast, your lunch, and your dinner, there should be a balance of those three things. If you have too much of one thing, then you know 100% you're going to run into health problems down the track. That's what we're trying to say.
Now, for tracking at restaurants, a lot of people I feel like run into this issue. What would you say to someone that goes to a restaurant, they've just started tracking and they're going out, restaurant pops up? What are some tips that you would give someone if they are focusing on a specific goal?
Best tip is to always go for meals. Always go for a meal. So, and what I mean by that is always go for a meal that has a protein source and a carb source and then a veggie source, which is exactly what I said before about the Australian Dietary Guidelines, setting up your plate every single time. I would stay away from things like tapas and all you can eat and ordering like all these entrees on the table and just picking little things from each one.
Unless you bring a scale with you to the restaurant.
Yeah, because it's hard. It's a lot harder to track and understand, right? But if you have, a steak meal, right, that's very easy to track. If you have a schnitzel, very easy to track. If you have pasta, it's easier to track than having all these entrees that you're picking from. So I always say stick to main meals as the main source of food that you get from these restaurants. They're going to be easy to understand, easy to look at and know if you're hitting your macros and your calories and everything like that.
I think another tip is actually taking a photo of it.
Yeah, take a photo of it.
Dropping it into ChatGPT.
That's one, yeah.
There's a video that we put on our Instagram page of me doing it, and the macros were fairly accurate. They're never going to be 100% because I can't really justify how many chips but it's better than nothing. And at least it gives you a bit of an idea. If you look at for instance, I had a plate of octopus with some chips and a salad and a Coke Zero. And I brought it out to about 700 to 800 calories. And it said roughly 700 to 800. That's a good idea. At least 700 to 800 calories is what you're going to be eating. When you go to a restaurant, take a photo, eat it, go home, put it in ChatGPT, and look what it spits out. If it's 1,500 calories and it only looked like a little piece, well then it's obviously a little bit wrong. But
I'll get in the habit of actually tracking it into MyFitnessPal as well.
But then there's the habit of tracking it into MyFitnessPal. MyFitnessPal is probably the most universally used tracking app at the moment.
I learned it in, what did I learn it in? Year 8 or year 9?
Yeah. And it's a perfect tool for when you're starting out. Make sure though that you don't, and this is a really good tip for when you are on MyFitnessPal, make sure that you do not add the exercise on top of your calories.
Yes.
Because a lot of people, what happens is with the macros and the calories, when you do it on MyFitnessPal, it will add your exercise or your walking on top of, and you'll essentially you'll naturally be in a surplus. You'll naturally be overeating when you don't need to be.
Yes.
Because the exercise equates for 200 extra calories. You did a 10K walk, it's 200 extra calories for you.
That doesn't mean you should eat the extra 200 calories. Doesn't
Your
actually
goal
work
is
like
to
that.
lose weight, for instance, right? Stay in that deficit. Don't eat
The walking is just
above it.
increasing your deficit. That's it.
Exactly. So, where do we summarize? How do we summarize? So, tips for tracking calorie banking is one of them. Then there's also taking photos. There's asking people. And for those two different people, A and B, for A, if you do have a specific goal, make sure to ask your coach or make sure to ask someone around you that is very equipped with it.
And make sure you actually track everything.
Correct.
Don't be an anal person. Like, it's important to enjoy yourself, right? You don't want to be that person that says no to going out because you have a specific weight loss goal, right?
Yeah.
Still enjoy yourself, but be mindful and track. Don't go into every weekend and just think, oh yeah, I'll fix it on Monday. Because if you don't know what happened, you won't know what to fix or how to fix it. And you don't want to run into the trap of severely under-eating to try and fix something you don't know.
If you are caught in that trap of saying, I'll start Monday, every day is going to feel like Monday. Because you're just going to keep pushing it back further and further. And you're never going to actually achieve what you set out you wanted to achieve.
Then person B, your main goal is to focus on your health right now. I feel like you should be monitoring each meal that you're having. And when it comes into the weekend, I know it's going to be a bit harder because you're out of your normal daily routine or weekly routine. Your main goal is to make sure that every single meal has the 3 macros in it, or you can visually see the 3 macros in your meal. If you order a pasta and it doesn't have any protein source in it, you know that's not a good meal because you can't really see 30% of protein in there, can you?
And it's majority carbs.
It's majority carbs and fats. So you need to make sure that every meal that you're having has a balance of the 3 macros and you got a little green tick from that.
Now, if you're feeling like you're going through anything that we talked about today, jump on our website. Make sure you check out our macro calculator if you want a little bit of guidance around what it is that you need to be doing for your nutrition, or give us a call or jump on our website. We'll leave everything in the description below. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. And until next week, we'll see you guys soon.